So is everyone here? Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's just us. We are the only ones in the first official Losers Club meeting. So, yes, I hereby commence our first official Losers Club meeting. First official one begins now. Now, our first order of business, let's see here. Got a few things written down that we can really sink our teeth into today. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Here. Yes. The first order of business is we need to pick out a president and a vice president. And I know I've made a pretty strong campaign, so I have the official hat after all. So I think if we can both agree on the fact that I should probably be president, as I am running the meeting, and you can be our vice president, how about that? Yeah, losers gotta stick together, So let's see, what's on the docket? What's next on the docket? Oh, what have we done this week? Anything exciting? Hopefully nothing too exciting. We are losers after all. Wouldn't want to get too crazy, We do like to be quite creative, I think, as losers, right? So it's good to kind of channel things when you can. So I don't know if you've worked on any projects or anything like that, but I think you'd be very good at just journaling right now, or maybe even sketching or painting something, right? Yeah, I think that's a great way to channel some of our loser energy. I know I've been writing quite a bit lately, so it's probably a good idea to start getting a little creative, I think. Let's see. Have you checked in with any fellow close loser friends at all? Yeah, we want to stay a little bit aloof, I know, but it's okay to reach out sometimes. Losers need love too, so yeah, there might not be too many of us, but again, we've got to just really band together. We want to make sure that we stay introverted, but that we're still checking up on our friends, and fellow possible members that we could recruit here next time, yeah? We do ultimately need a treasurer and a secretary, right? Have you listened to any good music lately or anything like that? Yeah, I recommend My Chemical Romance, MCR. They're very great for diving into those losery email feelings. I completely understand. I love them too. I also really like this new band, Spanish Love Songs, if you've heard of them. It's definitely worth checking out. And there's always the classics, like The Used, The Main, and all that stuff. But I'm happy to take some recommendations, yeah. Now moving on to literature, I've been finding that I dive a bit more into Sylvia Plath in times where I'm feeling a bit down on myself. But I can't go too far into that. What have you been reading lately? Interesting, okay. That's a good recommendation, I always appreciate something that's a little more in the horror genre as well. That loser, Edgar Allan Poe. He's so great for people like us, I think. He just really speaks to us. Maybe next time we'll look onto the bestsellers or, what's out in new releases and stuff like that. We could find something, I'm sure. Yes, to kind of share with the Losers Club here next time. So we'll get a list going. Perhaps we'll generate a book club, maybe an offshoot or something like that, yeah? I've got to get out of the classics. But I just keep finding myself going back to, Now let's see, what else do we have here? What else do we have here? Oh, you know what? Have we met our crying quota for this week? Okay, yeah. Yeah, could you give a rough estimate on how many times you've cried this week? Yep. it's Saturday, so I'm trying to think. I think my quota I usually cap around 3 or 4 times a week. I like to give myself a day in between, and I think that's a pretty good pace to set about 3 or 4 times a week. Yes, it's good to cry a little bit oftentimes, we get a little sad, especially in times like these, but it's good not to go above quota too much, you don't want to be too sad and lingering down too much in it, but as losers, it is good to allow those feelings to just happen and make sure that we're meeting our regular quota. Yep. And what have you been crying about this week? Okay, that is completely understandable. I know exactly where you're coming from when it comes to that stuff. I'm here for you. Your fellow loser club is here for you. So if you do need to reach out, just let us know. We are happy, more than happy to help you out, of course. Yeah, we're right down there with you, so we completely understand. I painted something kind of off this week and I just had a meltdown about it, so I understand where the crying comes from. Sometimes it just happens and you can't do a whole lot about it. I completely get it. Let's see, what else do we have here? You know what? Aside from crying quotas, self-care is also very important, and we want to make sure that we are countering those crying quotas with some kind of self-care. So it could be just drinking water, making sure you're staying hydrated, and it could also mean just eating a snack. That's a good recommendation. It doesn't have to be anything big, but just something that kind of tides you over. You want to make sure that you're stretching as well, even if you're just sitting there. You've got to get that blood flowing a little bit, and you know what, next time maybe I'll kind of put together a stretch session or something like that, so we can kind of stretch some of that stress out. That might be a good warm-up next to Losers Club. Yeah, even just simply brushing your teeth or brushing your hair is so important. So you know what, if you've done that today, I just want to tell you I'm super proud of you, and as a member of the Losers Club, I just want to applaud you. Tiny applause all around for doing acts of self-care today, okay? Yes, now let's see, what else do we have? I think we just have one more order of business, and that is the receiving of the compliments. Yes, I know that this is a very important part of the Losers Club, and it is something that we are all just going to have to get used to over time, and we will. Now, what it entails is giving compliments to your fellow losers and then receiving them in an acceptable manner. And let's discuss, before we get into it, acceptable responses for receiving compliments. Now, as a loser, the number one recommendation for receiving a compliment is blushing or feeling flushed. Yes, you might be a little bit embarrassed. That is okay. That is perfectly acceptable. Another one is disbelief. Oh, me? Yes, disbelief is good. And beyond that, you could even be incredulous if it's a particularly elevating compliment or something that you weren't expecting. Yes, you could be quite surprised by that. Another acceptable response is to sheepishly look down at your feet and mumble thank you, almost inaudibly. Yes, you want to practice this with me. It goes like this. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Yes, thank you. Something along those lines. Do you think you can try that? Yes. Okay, perfect. Well, as the president, I will make sure to compliment you. We are going to start. Are you ready? So I just want to start with your eyes. I just want to say how brilliant and amazing they are. They are so beautiful. They're like two pools that just kind of lead into your soul. I know we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but you know what? Those eyes are just spectacular, and you should know that. And then I also think that your hair, whatever you've been doing with it recently, is just wonderful. It looks so good and it looks so effortless. Oh, look at you. You're blushing. That is a perfect response. That is exactly what we want to see. Yes. Perfect. That's so great. Yes, I just love it. Just so flowing and free right now. It's so wonderful. Yeah. I want to say that your ideas are so amazing, and I am so glad that you are a part of the Losers Club with us. We couldn't do it without you, and I just think that you are going to go so far and maybe even become president one day. Yeah. I also think that you are just so creative. I don't know where you come up with half the things that you do, but as I watch you, I am so inspired by you, and it makes me want to be even more of a loser. Yes. There is a misconception that as losers we cannot win. That is not true. We can most definitely win even as a loser. It's called a trash can, not a trash cannot. We're still capable of a lot of things. You have had some brilliant responses today to those compliments. I just want to say a really great job. And I think that that will conclude our first official Losers Club meeting. I think we've addressed some really great points, and I look forward to seeing you and hopefully a few others at our next meeting. Remember to spread the word, and don't tell anyone that seems even remotely cool, okay? We want to keep this pretty exclusive, just us, yes? Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.